All right. Hopefully we're live on your channel and mine.
It appears to be the case. I think we've magicked to the internet, gussied up the tubes.
Oh, I just drank your water.
Awesome.
Now we have kissed.
We totally kissed.
It's official. Are you? You're not sick, are you?
No. No, I mean I got a stomach thing, but
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean a stomach thing? What
wait,
happened?
Mudbog and Redneck is in your chat, gifting away subs too. This guy's got too much money. I shouldn't say it. I don't know.
Hey, come on. He's allowed to do whatever he wants.
You're right. You're right. I shouldn't rich person shame, but
Never rich person shame, Lawrence. They're the ones that are supporting you.
God, you're right. You're absolutely right.
What are you talking about? Wait, what stomach thing do you have right now?
An ulcer. I'm getting over it.
Oh, those aren't contagious, I don't think. Are they?
Unless you have mine.
Chat, are ulcers
they're
contagious?
not.
They're not.
Unless by drinking my water you inherit all the stress that I have. I'm so excited to enter this phase of my life where like I always had a weird kind of romantic imagining of like a dude in his mid-30s that works really hard all day and comes home and like cracks an Alka-Seltzer into a glass of whiskey, knocks it back before his kids come up and start barfing all over his shoes, and he doesn't love his wife anymore and he's just grinding himself up. That's me, right? No, I mean, not the whole picture, but
I was gonna say, I think you love your girlfriend.
I love
You're
her
not
very
married.
much.
You don't have any kids, so you don't really have any stress.
no, it's I guess just
other than a job.
the idea of a self-sacrificial guy who's just like getting consumed by a system and he's just fanatically depressed. I don't know what, something about that image has always resonated with me.
Well, I remember you told me a long time ago. This resonated with me a long time ago when you said we would drive by. There was this bar, the Tattletale.
Oh yeah,
And we would drive by the Tattletale, and you would be like, "Man, I can't wait till I'm 85 years old and drunk every single day at 11 a.m. at the Tattletale." And I was like, I mean, I guess if that's something you want to aspire to, I don't.
What else are you gonna do when you're 85? I mean, I
Love
guess I
your
could stream.
grandkids.
I'm not gonna have grandkids.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you're not
Stupid
gonna,
say, like-
actually, that's a good question. Are you gonna have any kids? Do you want to have kids? It's all right. You don't have to answer it. You can just say, "I don't know."
It's a complicated. I mean, I've thought a lot about it. I am entering the phase of my life where when I see dads being dads, there is something that happens inside of me. I'm like, oh fuck. But the idea of having a child terrifies
It's
me.
very, very scary. Yes.
And I don't know that Stephanie's into it because you know
Alright.
I guess she would be involved
Well, I mean,
to some degree.
It matters a lot if she's into it or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, if
We've talked about it lightly. I mean, if I pushed for it, if I said I'll no longer love you unless you accept my seed,
that's the right way to do
I
it.
could probably force her into it, which
That's the
you
right
know,
way to do it.
yeah, is the one way it's going to go down.
It's very smart. It's a smart move, Lawrence.
Thanks.
I endorse a lot of the things you do during the day, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
So
Emotionally pressuring Stephanie to do things she doesn't want to do.
I thank you for subbing on both of our channels. I see lots of subs
Yeah, we're going both places.
piling in. We're streaming to both channels, which I think is okay. I hope. We're both partnered. I hope. You know, I hope this is the right way to do this. Look, we're doing it on. I paid for the restream so that we could both get it on the channels, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's an investment.
It's
Bruce is sacrificing, like a dad,
yeah,
going to work every day
I gave him $20
for
or
a family that hates him.
whatever.
So romantic.
Lawrence, your family may not hate you if you have a family.
No, I think it was mostly like my dad. I'm pretty sure was in that exact situation, which explains a lot. He's a confusing guy.
But you don't have to do that.
No, I don't.
Okay,
It was the only thing that I saw for a long time.
It's my my ages old story that I've told. I think I probably told you, where I remember once I talked to a boss, and I was like a lowly assistant who had to get coffee, and I remember talking to her about it, and this was when she wasn't treating me like shit. I was able to have pretty frank conversations with her, and I asked her, I was like, well, how come you're like so mean to all the assistants? Because there are a lot of assistants, and like we were friends at this point. I was like, how come you're so mean to all the assistants? She's like, because that's what happened to me.
Wow.
That's what I had to go through. So then I have to treat everybody like shit because I was treated like shit. And she was my boss at the time, so I didn't go, no, you don't. But
You can just not.
you could just not.
Yeah.
And that was always my goal. It's like, hey, the shit that happened to me, maybe I won't do that again. Maybe I won't continue the cycle of abuse. I don't know.
I mean, did you ask her if? I mean, yeah, she was your boss, so it's not like you could push it. But
No.
I'm always curious for people who perpetuate that cycle. How active is the thought process? Is it like these things like after they were bullied or treated like shit, did they actually get to the point where they did find value in that experience? Is it purely just I suffered through it, so now I want to feel like what it's like being on the other end of it? Do you hold a lot of resentment, and then the way you express that is by pushing it on other people?
Yes, that's
like,
what you do. That's what happens.
I mean, for me, it was pure imitation. Like,
oh, okay.
that's all I knew. So I mean, maybe it's just that simple. That's the process that you understand. So you just visit it back out again. Yeah, and I don't know. I've since tried to talk to my dad about those things, and it's maybe
it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Good for you for trying, though.
I get close to the topic, but oh, Jesus, that's a lot of shit smeared on something.
Is that poop?
No, further down.
Oh.
That's poop.
Oh my god.
I remember that. That's a classic internet photo. You talk about having kids.
Sorry, go ahead.
Someone in chat was like, "I have a child, and it's the most rewarding experience in the world."
then we looked at that
the
picture.
depths of love, and then shit, just everywhere, like a shit bomb went off. So rewarding. So, but yeah, I don't want to say this because it sounds really condescending, but and maybe it's just a disconnect. It's not like better or worse, but I don't know if my father has the emotional language to even discuss some of the things that I'd like to get to know about him.
Which is okay.
Yeah. Doesn't mean he's a bad guy or
Yeah.
anything. And maybe he just says it in a way that I can't hear, or I need to hear it in a way he can't say. You know, all sorts of disconnects.
That's what therapy's for.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what therapy's for.
There. Oh man, what a phase. There was a. This is getting into place. There was a. When I was like 15, 16, my parents had split up. My dad went to therapy for like the first time in his life.
Oh wow,
And-
good for him.
No, super good for him.
Yeah.
But he got like a little too into it and started thinking that he was a therapist. And then he started like trying to
Oh.
give therapy to me and my sister.
Oh no, that doesn't work.
No.
Because you got to go to school for years.
Yes, you
get a
do.
degree and stuff.
So he would like get us into a room and ask us some charged questions, and I would tell him the truth. And that was not something anyone was ready to hear at the time. An edgy 16-year-old who's been largely
cool.
abandoned by his parents, lashing out. Going back to my room and listening to Linkin Park. Yeah, those were interesting days.
When's the last time you remember lashing out at your parents? I have a specific example. I'm asking you.
That's a really good question.
Like you remember lashing out and going like, and then afterwards going like, what the fuck? Why did I do that?
Yeah, being confused why,
Yeah.
or feeling like that level of shame.
Yeah.
The last clear moment I can remember, and this is going to sound really bad, but it's it's a teenager story. It ought to.
It always is.
I built this computer desk in woodshop class, and it was like two pieces. It was a table and then a top part that had like places for speakers and like CDs and everything. So I had carried the table upstairs to my room by myself, but I needed help carrying up the top part because it was really heavy. My mom, who is the best person in the entire world, was helping me carry it upstairs. And I was at the age where I sort of resented any amount of like softness. Edgy young white dude, which
You were male. You were masculine.
exactly.
I know what you mean.
So
I know
yeah,
what you mean.
I kind of my mother's like always genuine and heartfelt approach. Just kind of felt a needless need to react against it. So we were carrying upstairs, and she said something, and I was just being a dumbass teenager, and I kind of snapped at her about something. I don't even remember the context of what it was, and I even remember going back later and trying to apologize for that specific instance, and she doesn't even remember it. So that takes a little bit of load off me. But yeah, I remember it happening at the moment, and even while it was happening, and I was being shitty to her, thinking she's helping me carry this upstairs. She's like doing this nice thing for me.
So you realize it though. That's good.
In the moment, I think I'd like to believe, and every time I've ever been just a shitbag in life, there's always a part of my brain that's watching me do it and thinking like, why are you doing this right now? You could just back out. You can just stop it, say, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, but then there's another louder part that says, no, you got to dedicate to the jump. So
You lose that the older you get.
you do.
You lose the you got to dedicate voice, and you go and the older you get, the more you go, what the fuck am I doing? Like, and that's truthfully because like the last time I remember lashing out, I think it was 13, and it was something dumb. It was something dumb about Jurassic Park. I remember it was about Jurassic Park, so I may have been a little younger. Maybe I was 12, but I remember screaming at my parents. I hate you. I hate you.
Jurassic Park.
And then I apologized. Like it was like 24 hours later because I had thought about it, and because I remember really digging in and being like, no, I was right to scream I hate you at my parents. And then the 24 hours went by. I had cooled down, and I was like, when I was like, hey, I'm really sorry that I did that.
Aw.
As a 12-year-old. because I was the shittiest person in the world when I was 12 and 13, like the worst.
I don't think there's a good 12 or 13-year-old in the world.
There isn't
ever.
No, there isn't.
Which is, there's one thing. The one thing, one thing I love about the cycle of life is that you live through something and then you see it happening in somebody else, and the fact that you lived through it provided you. Oh God, that's the best clip ever. The like physical panic on the camera guy is like trying to anywhere but where it's pointed is really really cute. But yeah, one of the more endearing parts of the human experience is that somebody can remember what it was like to be that stupid, and then have like one of the patience and pity to not just roast them alive. So your parents, from the sounds of it, did they scream back at you?
No.
So yeah, they were just like,
they were like, he's a dumb 12-year-old.
he's a dumbass 12-year-old.
Yeah.
All right, he's screaming about dinosaurs. Let him do it. And I mean, to your credit, like I don't think most teenagers
Wanted to sub but can't find the link to do
Oh,
so.
thanks for the donation.
Right on.
This
Okay.
works as well, though.
Good.
Just wanted to say I love
I think
you,
most
Bruce. Miss you at
most shitty
Funhouse.
teenagers don't get
Also
the
love
perspective
you,
within
Lawrence.
24 hours to come back and apologize. So that's pretty awesome.
It was, well, I mean, yeah. Trust me, I'm not patting myself on the back for that one.
Man, you got me thinking now. Shoot.
I like, because there were times that I did this to people, like friends and like
Yeah.
loved ones later on in life, that I was like, and again, it would be the same deal. There's a shorter amount of time, a refractory period of realizing that you're stupid and then apologizing, but the actual wisdom, the actual thing that you learn to do is to never do it at all. That's the magic. That's the actual magic, which is very, very hard. It's very hard to do. And it also ends up making you crazy later on, like, because then you'll talk to yourself.
Oh yeah. That's a daily process of sort of the day in review and trying to see if there's anyone that needs to be apologized to or any wrongs that need to be righted. I used to dedicate myself to never making mistakes like that. I think mostly because I had so much shame for the mistakes I had made. But I've since backed off. It's like if you spend your entire life terrified of making a mistake, then you'll never do anything.
That's true, yeah.
One thing that stuck out to me was like when I took dance lessons fairly recently with Stephanie. We went to take some swing classes.
Oh, swing
which
classes.
was super super fun, and I want to go do it again.
That's
but
rad.
Stephanie was self-conscious because she sweat. And I'm like, well, it's dancing.
Everybody does it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the exact point. One of the instructors, I think, had kind of noticed that people were being a little too ginger with their partners, and they said like, look, you're all here to dance. Like that's what you're here for. So when you have a partner, they're here to dance with you as much as you're here to dance with them. So you don't have to be so terrified about doing the wrong thing because there's a trust there, implicit because of where you are. And I think it took me a while to realize that that's also true of the world, is like you can make social mistakes because you're in a social setting, and I think everybody kind of implicitly understands that we're all just chaotically trying to figure out being alive.
Being a human.
Yeah, so some
And
mistakes.
being a good human, really.
Yeah.
What it boils down to.
So you can make some mistakes, and other people make mistakes too. If you will give people a forgiveness for those mistakes, you can expect some forgiveness for mistakes from yourself.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Doesn't
Yeah.
always work out that way, but hopefully.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But yeah, I mean, you still got to power through.
Mordecai, I am not drunk right now at all. 100% sober.
No, he's drinking water that I already drank out of.
Yeah, we're sharing a tall glass of room temperature vodka.
I mean, and he rode his motorcycle here, so I assume when you ride away, you're not gonna. You probably, I would imagine, you've never taken a drink and gotten on a motorcycle. Like you don't have to say it. I just assumed you didn't.
I mean, I've never driven under the influence ever. I've
really?
I've driven my motorcycle 2 places, had like 1 beer,
Oh,
and then
that's
2 hours later gone home.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't like
I would
gotten
be-
on with an open bottle of whiskey sloshing down the street.
I would be even.
The
more,
helmet's on; it's impossible to drink it.
I would be even more afraid on a motorcycle if I was like
Yeah.
buzzed or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So
If you're in a car, there's a giant metal cage around you. You can run into a tree and probably live. If you're on a motorcycle, you fly off that thing, you smash into something, that's it.
yeah, you're done. You are done.
Mm-hmm.
Chat. We're also taking
phone.
questions. We're trying to look at the chat as it flies by. I kind of recognize some names here and there from our chat, but also from Lawrence's chat, because I think there's a
It's
lot
all
of you that
smushed
watch
together.
both. Yeah, but it's all smushed together. So just ask whatever questions you want while we wax poetic.
I like NC Savage. How much of your college degree have you guys actually made use of in your professional careers?
I say every single day. You know why I say that?
Why?
Because it's computer science. So
Yeah.
I know how computers work better than if somebody who didn't have that degree was using a computer. So it's like, generally speaking, your problem solving is really, really good, I've noticed, with computers, because you know how they work.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what to do if one breaks, you're like, well, I kind of have an idea of the programming behind it. So, but I don't like program every day, obviously.
Oh yeah, I don't code nearly at all anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's something similar to what you said. For like being I don't even know what the modern term is, a games commentator. I think it does help a lot to understand how the tech works, because there are a lot of people who comment on game design and the operability of a video game or computer game or whatever, but don't actually know how computers work. So there's always an element of mysticism to the way they describe game operations.
That's right. Yeah.
Knowing how games actually work does take a lot of the magic out of it, but also makes it magical again when you realize that the whole system still works. So to hear some people describe like game design, they describe it very weirdly if they don't understand how computers process inputs and stuff like that. So.
Have you ever heard anybody talk about a car engine?
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Nearly.
'Cause
Yeah.
if you don't know the way a car engine works, which I kind of don't, then if somebody describes how it works, I'm like, I got nothing.
They're 100% right. It's nearly the exact same thing.
Because they're both really complex systems, computers and car engines. Even the oldest car engines were extremely complex.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys cover the Bethesda Fallout First thing today?
No, sadly.
Really? Oh.
WWE was too low hanging of a fruit.
So I saw one of the questions were, what did you think about that Fallout First thing?
It's
I just laughed at it.
yeah, just laugh at it. That's kind of where I'm at. I think so. It's not the easy thing to do is to get all mad and offended that how dare they ask for money for a piece of shit. Fine.
But you don't have to pay it.
You don't have to pay it.
Yeah.
And I think from Bethesda, like talking about Bethesda as a company, nice. God, I love. What is it, Ricardo? I love him so much.
Oh, Ricardo's the best.
A fucking legend. Also awesome. Yeah, that was me. A lot of me. Very good at Guitar Hero. Didn't get laid for a long time. When I think about it from Bethesda's standpoint, the only people playing Fallout 76 now are the people who like the game.
They're diehards. Yeah.
Right? So
they're going to pay that.
they're not putting this out there to try to pick up you or anyone who's not playing Fallout 76. So the diehards, yeah, they're giving them another service that, yes, costs money. I think in an ideal world, like in the old days, you would be able to get the game client and run your own server. Who knows? In 5 years, maybe they'll do that for 76. But right now, it's still an active service that they're still actively developing, theoretically. And it's targeting core users, pretty obviously. So, why not let them make money off the people who want to buy it?
Well, that's I don't know why you'd be upset about it. I just laughed at it.
I laughed at it.
I was like, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. Who do they think they are? And then moved on. So I was like, and Ricky Hayberg, Ricky still plays.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he's played recently, but like he got really into it. I joined. There was one time I played with him, and he was like level 87 or some shit.
Jesus
and,
Christ.
Yeah, and he played a ton, and he knew what everything would like. Cause he was like, oh yeah, pick this up and drop this, and do this thing, then press these keys, and blah blah blah. So I mean, like he'll probably go back because of that. Apparently, it's a private server cost at this point. Mm-hmm. So he will probably, and it'll probably cause him to go back, even though he stopped because he liked the game. So that's what they want, I think. But also, do they want all the bad PR of all of us laughing at them?
I don't think it affects.
Does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay. Yeah.
If they announce Fallout 5, no one's going to be like, this game sucks because you asked us to pay $12 for Fallout 76 servers. I don't know that people are necessarily going to carry that. I do think that there's a kind of meme, like elbow to the ribs, giggle at Bethesda no matter what. I don't think they care because they're going to sell stuff either way. So,
Yeah.
It's, I know that having spoken to a number of developers, no one likes to be laughed at. I shouldn't have to say that out loud, but there are people that work on Fallout 76, and today was probably a rough day for them because they got to enjoy being the ass of the internet for a day. Well, whatever, time moves on. So, I mean, I'm sure from their perspective, if they can make more money and hire more people to make more cool stuff for Fallout 76, they'll endure a day of ridicule for it.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where this goes.
That's true. Todd Howard married my mom, so I had to support him.
That makes sense.
That's what Nexus says.
He's your new dad. That's rough. Todd seems like he might be a cool dad, but he'd never be around. He'd be in the office all the time.
Yeah, but he'd be real cool when he showed up.
He probably, he'd be in his
bring
leather
gifts,
jacket. Yeah, he'd
and
bring
like
you
gift
gifts.
cards and like cool toys and shit.
But then he'd smell like somebody else's perfume, and
True,
things
he
would
had
be really
lipstick on his
weird.
collar.
Yeah, and you'd be trying to sit down to dinner, and things would be really tense, and you don't know why, but you'd take Todd's side because he's cool dad,
He's a
even
cool
though
dad.
even though your mom's there all the time, and she cooked dinner and everything. But
Yeah,
no,
but-
Todd's
Well, it's because you don't know that Todd's cheating on your mom.
yeah, and your mom didn't bring you presents, so.
And your mom did not bring you presents. Your mom made you do your chores.
God, is that more no, that's not more romantic than a dude grinding himself up and hating his kids. I don't think.
No.
What a game though, man. Like, go to work, cheat on your wife, bring home your kid like a jigsaw puzzle, and they love you more than the person who takes care of them all day. What an arrangement. Hell yeah.
Hi Inti asked how we met. I believe we met long before. I think we met before you did. Wait, when did you leave Machinima to go to Texas?
2012.
Okay, yeah. So
So we were
had
in the
met.
same building but not working together.
And then yeah, that's right. Because I knew you. Did you get married in Texas?
Yes.
You did. That's right. So I knew you when you were engaged.
Okay, yeah.
I knew you when you because that was
was
the
when I was in
infamous, that's
Texas.
the infamous story when you pissed in my closet. That's
Yes.
the New Year's story.
I was not I wasn't engaged at that point.
You just were together.
I was in a pretty dedicated for whatever that means now.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but yeah, that was an intense experience. BioTurds, I was married. Yeah, I get to be that guy.
I was also married.
Yeah.
Both of us are divorced.
two divorcees on
Yeah.
Twitch.
And whenever
The first time ever? Maybe.
Whenever somebody, whenever like you get one of those forms that says married, single,
Yeah,
divorced.
why do they want
I'm
to
always
know
like,
that?
Do I check divorced? I guess. I mean, like I don't know. It's
At
weird.
what point is that relevant?
I don't
Because
know.
there are forms like that, and I'm like, what? How does this have any bearing on this weird thing on my back?
I'm not sure. I
Is
don't
my
know.
hernia all healed? Yeah, it was healed years ago. I just
Man.
replaced it for something else.
I felt so bad for you, and you'd always like fuck with it.
Hi,
Yeah, I could-
Bruce and Lawrence.
always
Been
press
watching
it.
you since IG 2011. Question:
Oh, you've been
how
watching
did you
since
guys
2011.
get started in the entertainment
Oh, yeah.
field without having a degree
Thank you
in
for the
that
donation.
field?
So yeah, I did see this question a lot. How did we get started in the entertainment industry? Yours is, I think, much more exciting and interesting than mine. I think. I
You
can't remember.
think? I don't know about that.
I can't remember. Go ahead.
Oh, I guess.
I'll call up your chat too.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
It's nearly impossible to put a pin on when it started. I guess the earliest possible rumbling was that I bought a book on HTML from a used bookstore, and then made my own website where I posted my own video game reviews on the internet. I did that when I was like 11 or 12, I think. And then from there, just sort of was always like either writing my own stuff because I just really liked reviewing games, or I would submit that to volunteer websites, many of which have gone down. So I have backups of most of that stuff on my computer somewhere. The first like semi-paid gig was for a website that did revenue share for all the articles you submitted. So if it got ad rev, you get like $2 for an article, so that's exciting.
That's pretty good.
And then, excuse me. From there, I guess my break, the only time I actually started earning money from it, was I had, on one volunteer site, worked with somebody who then went to work at G4. This is Justin. I don't know if you...
Oh, Facino?
Yeah, Justin Facino.
Oh yeah. No, I worked with him at G4.
Yeah.
Because I knew Justin long before he went to Michigan.
Yeah. So he eventually went to Machinima, and since we had worked together on a volunteer website before, don't think of the exact chronology. So I had gotten let go from one of the websites I was writing for, and I still don't know why. I was told there were 3 strikes against me, but they didn't tell me what those 3 were. So weird. And I also did a shitload of work for them, so that was odd. Weird phone call. Anyway, was kind of put the call out that I was looking for work. And one of the guys I was writing with at the website I got dismissed from said, "Hey, this guy is looking for freelancers, and he says he knows you." I was like, "Okay, cool." And that's when I started submitting freelance reviews to Machinima's. It wasn't even branded Inside Gaming at the time, or was it? I don't remember.
What year? Do you remember?
2010.
So yeah, it probably was.
2009.
Because Adam started it in 2009.
Yeah, it was
He
late
started Inside
2009.
Gaming then.
And I think they spun up pretty quick about them trying to blow out Inside Gaming to be a ton of things. So they had a blog. I have since come to understand that they really wanted to be on Metacritic at the time.
That's right. That's what Rob Smith would tell us that over and over. He's like, we need to be on Metacritic.
Yeah.
And Rob Jones too. Yeah.
So they, as it's been told to me, and this is hearsay, but they said they called up the Metacritic man, John Metacritic, and said, "Put us on Metacritic," and he literally laughed at them on the phone, and they were like, "What? We're Machinima, we get everything." And then he was like, "You're gonna need like 500 reviews before we get you on Metacritic." So they hung up the phone and said, "Get us 500 reviews." So they just started throwing money at freelancers to generate text. It didn't matter what it was; they just needed posts.
Were you one of them?
Yeah.
There you go.
Through Justin, I was one of the freelancers, and it was beautiful at the time. Yeah, shout out to Rob Smith.
Of course, always. Shout out to Rob Smith.
Man, I need to hang out with that guy.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's super cool. But at the time, it was amazing because they were paying $50 a review, which was just like, oh my god, I can do this forever.
That's actually really good, though.
Yeah, their
Back
rates
in
were very
2010?
good. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it still wasn't enough for me to do full time, but it was like this is the first time I could actually earn a couple of $100 a month, and I was just grinding out reviews for them because they were taking everything I could give.
Yeah.
And I'd done that for 6 to 9 months or so. Then they wanted to spin up a news blog, and I guess I was the one writer they tapped to do it. So it was like 10 articles a day, $10 each, so $100 a day to write about video games, and that was barely enough for me to cover all my bills. So that was kind of the cutoff of when I kind of transitioned from software, web development, whatever I was doing at the time. I think I was like writing scripts to adapt massive text, like data dumps, to be imported into a database for a life reinsurance company, which is a whole other thing.
What the? So you were programming for them? It sounds like.
Yeah, scripting, but yeah, that's a separation only programmers care about. And then I was able to start writing full time, and then they offered me a prestigious position of writing and sending out the Inside Gaming newsletter, and that was a full time position in LA. And I crammed all my shit in my van and drove out, and that was in 2011, late 2010.
Oh, really? And you left in like a year and a half back to Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
didn't know you were only here that's a short amount of time.
Yeah, my first stretch in LA was pretty short. We weren't getting paid much. Say me and my girlfriend. So we didn't have much. Like, we just stayed at home the whole time because we didn't have money to do anything. And staying at home in LA is not very great. And then also working at Machinima at the time and not being on camera also really sucked. I mean, and I get it. Like, I wasn't doing anything super valuable.
But let me ask you this though: did you want to? You wanted to be on. Did you want to be on camera? I've always wondered.
It was never an ambition of mine.
No, it wasn't. Well,
I wanted to do valuable work.
But is it something that you like? Were you ever like, I really want to do this because I think I would like it, or you just like,
no,
didn't matter. Okay.
I think to like Adam's credit and some of the earlier Machinima guys, they would put me on camera, I think, just to test me out and see how I would do, and it was bad. Like, the early stuff was always really, really bad. I think I had the same thing that I think everyone does, which is you have that little tickle in the back of your brain. It's like, I might just be really good at this. What if I'm just like on camera once and then I become a superstar?
Yeah.
So there was that, but when I was on camera once, it was awful because I was way heavier and also way, way frumpier back then. No money like crew. So it didn't go super well, but like anything, the more I did it, the better I got at it, or at least less bad. But yeah, I left because, for one, I kind of saw where Machinima was headed at the time. I was like, I'm not feeling good about this, because I wasn't important, and I could kind of see the downturns. So I was like, they're gonna lay me off eventually.
You were right.
So I left and went back to Dallas.
You had made the right move, because I bet if you had stayed there, you would have gotten laid off, and instead you got kept on because you were a freelancer.
Yeah,
it was a smart move.
Yeah,
very smart move.
They told me that they were like, sorry, bro, we just can't do any remote work. You'll be freelancer for now, because we don't have anyone to take over your place. Because at that time I was writing the daily, which ended up actually being the one thing that was super valuable to the company.
Yeah.
And they were like, just for a few months, it's not a full-time thing, just want to make sure you know that. And I was like, whatever, man. And I was like getting other writing freelance work at the time. But yeah, that never stopped happening, I think, because you were producing the show at that point.
I had started producing the very beginning of 2013.
Yeah, so it was like a nearly even trade-off.
Yeah. It was a very, very smart move. And I guess that's how you got. That's an interesting, like, it's an interesting meandering path. Mainly you were writing. It sounds like you were writing.
Mostly writing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when my marriage fell apart, and then I was like, well, there's nothing for me here now. I just loaded everything into my shitty car and drove back to LA, because that was like the one place that I had friends and work. So in 2013, end of 2013, I think, moved back to LA, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, that was I remember pushing for you to get full-time, because everything was a fight. Every time it was a fight. It was always like, yeah, I think we should make this guy full-time. And they're like, why? And I was like, well, he's been working for us for an entire year already, and I know he vibes well with the team. And they were like, well, but do you know he will be a good full-time employee? And I was like, yes, I do know that. And also, I will make sure that he is. And they're like, okay, we trust you.
I was honestly shocked. I figured I was going to be freelance until Machinima dissolved. Or they do the thing where they fire you and rehire you 2 weeks later. So
I had
that
to
was
do
my expectation. So when I went full time, I was like, holy shit, Bruce actually got it done.
I had to do that same fight with almost everyone, even in Funhouse. There were like some people, some full times that I was able to just be like, bang, full time. But it's always a fight. It's always a fight here. It's one of those things that I know is kind of illegal, generally speaking.
It's just smart business.
But I think you're only supposed to be like freelance for 6 months, and then you're either fired or full timed.
Yeah, it's cute. There are laws in California to prevent people from just keeping employees freelance forever. So then what companies do is they just fire you and rehire you. It shouldn't be legal, but somehow they usually fire you and then rehire you under like a management company.
They did it to Scott McDonald at G4 a number of times, and at Machinima. I felt so bad for Scott.
And he was
He's the greatest dude in the world.
awesome dude, like great worker.
He's the greatest dude in the world. So for me,
Yeah.
I think I've told you this, but I actually just told the story on stream like a few weeks ago. I just applied over and over to G4, and because I had watched G4 in 2002.
This is when you were working at K-Rock?
No, I was working nowhere. I had just moved from Santa Barbara to Los Angeles. I was unemployed. I was playing Star Wars Galaxies every day.
Nice.
For like 8 hours a day.
Hell yeah.
And it was rad. And I wanted to kill myself because I had been doing it for like 2 months, and I was just like, I can't do this. So I started applying everywhere. I applied at Best Buy. I applied at like EA. I applied at a bunch of other, and I had a computer science degree. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why can I get hired? And so I applied at G4 for 10 different jobs there. So like there was like segment producers and associate producers and production assistants and like executives and shit. And I was just like applying for all of them, which you shouldn't do. Don't do that.
It's not a good look. As somebody who's doing hiring right now for Inside Gaming, when you look at an applicant and there's 18 positions that have all been applied for from one person who has one set of experience, it's like, okay, it reads a little desperate. Also reads like you didn't really look at the roles and apply like the ones you thought you were a good fit for. So yeah.
Well, either way, I was desperate.
Get in the smooch cup.
Very much so. And the HR lady at G4, who ended up being, I think it was Comcast at the time, because they had just gotten moved. G4 had just gotten bought by Comcast, or they were part of Comcast already, something like that. And she called me and she was like, "Hey, you got to stop applying for these jobs." And me being young, I had no idea that a call from HR was good. I just thought she was mad at me. So she called and she was like, "You have to stop applying. You can't do this anymore." I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I won't do that anymore." And like I was like, "Okay, well, bye." Like I was basically gonna hang up. And she's like, no, wait. Like, I have a job for you. It's just none of these. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. She's like, you just got to come in and interview, and then if you get the job, you get the job. It's like, perfect, I'll be there. So I interviewed, and I think it was like a couple of weeks later. So I interviewed, and a couple of weeks later, I had also interviewed at EA to be a tester.
Ooh.
And this was like the height of when people said EA were abusing their testers. And I was like, well, I guess I got to do it. I have a computer science degree, and I wanted to eventually get into game programming, so fuck it.
Oh, man.
So I applied at EA, applied at G4. Didn't hear back for weeks on both. And then on my birthday, I got calls from both of them saying, you got the job. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Because tester was a temporary job, but it paid like $16 an hour, which was actually not bad back in 2004. And then, and G4 paid the same, roughly, but there were benefits. And I was like, And I knew I liked entertainment more because I had been a DJ in Santa Barbara before that. So I was like, all right. Literally, whatever the choice. It's very rare in your life that you know there is a choice you're going to make that will affect the rest of your career. But I knew that was going to be it. And I was like, well, I guess I like entertainment more. So I'm going to go with G4. So I went with G4. The rest is history. Then it's like me hopscotching from different, to G4, to Machinima, to AOL Games, back to G4 for a little bit, and then like to Machinima, and then to Rooster Teeth, and now here.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that was I could have been the next Corey Barlog.
You could have. Like maybe another 20 years down the road.
Maybe, yeah. I could have been a game producer for, who knows, some badass game, or killed myself after working 100 hours at EA.
That's probably, yeah. It's fascinating to hear that because I also had a computer science degree. I was like kind of dual tracking down game dev or media because I was like doing coding, but also then going home and writing stuff because like online media wasn't really a thing yet. I did drive down to Austin and interviewed at Aspire, who at the time largely did game ports for a QA position.
Yeah.
And it was weird because they were asking me all these questions about, well, what do you think this job is? Do you think you just play video games all day? And I was like, I have a computer science degree. No, I know what testing is.
Yeah.
Like there's probably going to be like a tracker, and I'll make bug reports and describe everything,
Yep.
and it really seemed like the job was more for like high school kids over the summer, whereas for me, I was like, no, I'm a developer, but I guess I'll come in at the bottom. The day after I renewed my lease in Dallas, they called me up with a job offer from Texas minimum wage in Austin, which was like $6.50, I think, an hour. So I was like, oh my God, I could do this. I could like go into debt and pay off my lease
Yep.
and drive down to Austin and live like trash to do QA to hopefully work my way up through game development, or not do that and just keep writing reviews and stuff. So I decided not to take that job offer, but I do wonder, yeah, like if I tried to work my way up through Aspire and become a game programmer.
You could have been the next Cliffy B.
I could have.
Can you imagine all the Lamborghinis?
I still think it's not for me, and the things that I like. I eventually very much came down onto the idea that I enjoy playing games more than making them, even though I'm sure making them is fun too. But gosh, you have to give away so much of your life for years at a time to make one thing with a giant
and
team.
hope that it succeeds.
Yes,
That blows my mind.
and you can work for 4 years on one thing, and then have another part of the company announce a pass for a game, and then everyone's laughing at you, and all you've done is slave away in your cubicle for 9 hours a day. Man, I feel really like, I mean, I have literally have skin in this particular game because Stephanie works for Blizzard, but I feel really bad for what's happened with Blizzard at large because of the whole Hong Kong stuff.
Yeah.
It was stupid and dumb, but there are so many teams at Blizzard who have been working for so long on things that haven't been seen, and now they have to deal with all that shit.
And they also may not have made that decision were they the ones in that position.
Yeah.
You know, like they may not have been like, oh no, we're not going to do that because we understand that it's a very sensitive subject. I mean, who knows?
So it's tough. I mean, I like a good pile on. I love laughing at dumb stuff like WWE 2K or whatever. It's like that looks like trash, and it's fun to point and laugh. But at the same time, man, it's the older I get, and this is maybe part of being sentimental and being emotionally mature.
Yeah.
It's really hard to not think about the hundreds of people that worked so hard to make that trash.
Well, but so here's the question though, because this
Yeah.
is something like I have that perspective since I'm a little older, and I have been in the content creation game for a long time. So a lot of your blood, sweat, and tears goes into content. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. That's just part of your job. But did they work hard? That's always my question, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
So like people are like, when somebody's like, because this is one of my favorite arguments about something. If you're like, this is a bad movie, like X-Men: Dark Phoenix is a bad film, right? I don't know. It's not. I've never seen it, so I don't know that it's actually a bad movie. Regardless, people say it's bad, and so when I'm joking around about how it's bad, somebody will always come back on Twitter or whatever and be like, "Oh my gosh, hundreds of people worked on this movie, and they worked hard. They slaved away, and this is the thanks they get." And I'm like, now hold on. I have an idea of how things are made, at least in these sorts of venues. Movies, not as much as like television or internet content. Were they actually working hard? Were they coming in every day and being like, I'm gonna bust my ass to make that visual effect look amazing? Or did they have a terrible boss who's like, whatever, just put it up on the screen, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, obviously no one else gives a shit around here, so fuck it. You know, like, and that's the thing that I'm always like, did they care? I've met people that care about their craft. I have.
Yeah.
But I've also met people that don't care about their craft, and I've worked side by side with them. And I know that the things that they put out are not as good. So I'm like, well, when it is not as good and people make fun of it, I don't feel bad for them because they didn't put their heart and soul into it.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, it is naive of me to think that everyone comes to work with a twinkle in their eye and a skip in their step, and they just can't wait to share their passions with the world. But no, you're right. And in my actual working experience, by far, the majority of people that I work with don't want to work, don't want to learn new things, don't want to help anybody, It seems like everyone's ideal job is to come into a space that is very familiar and then just like turn a wheel the same direction every day.
Yep.
And have that wheel be the same color. Like, no one wants to be challenged or try anything new or have their expectations disrupted, but that's all like, it's all good jobs are. It's volatility, it's solving new problems. So yeah, that's fair. I should remind myself that when there's something out there that's trash, that some people that worked on it are probably carbon copies of some of the people that I desperately dislike, who have made my life very, very hard in working situations.
And to be fair, in larger teams, there are people there that are busting their ass and like coming in every day and being like, "Come on, guys, we could do it!" And everybody else around them is like, "No, dude. Like, did you see how bad that fucking explosion looked next to Jean Grey? It's terrible." And they bought it. Like, it's in the movie.
Just like tires peeling out. Just, okay, man, it's 2:00. I guess you're going home. Cool.
Yeah, and so everyone's like, "Bro, stop working so hard." And there's always a few of them that are like, "No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure it out," which is cool. I love that attitude. But you want to assemble that right team, and those are the teams that are hard to find. Those are the teams that make really, really good shit. Look, lack of a better example, and I don't know if anybody out there is gonna give a shit, but the Marvel movies. Every one of them is like not a bad film, actually pretty good, because I thought people cared about it, and whether or not they're considered cinema by the 85-year-old men that are shitting on them because they're no longer relevant.
Ooh ah.
Yeah.
Ooh ah. So I've actually skipped that whole thing because the second I see headlines like that, I immediately don't care. Like, who cares about? Why does opinion matter? I guess the only opinions I care about, or the only talk I care about from creators, is when they're describing their process or the thought that went into their creation or the work of it. When they talk about other people's things and not in like a constructive way or in a analytical way, when it's just like,
it's not cinema.
Yeah, when it becomes gatekeeping, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
They could just say they don't like the movies.
Sure, and that has equally as much value. If like Scorsese is out in front of a theater with a megaphone yelling about how you shouldn't go see Black Panther or whatever,
Yeah.
people are just gonna be like, "Who's that crazy guy yelling?" I'm gonna go into the theater and do it anyway. So it doesn't change anything. It's weird to me that it consumes so many people's cycles, because I guess, like, why do people need to be validated for what they like?
Well, because they don't want to. I mean, like, if it's this isn't me, but if it's somebody that spent a lot of time and a lot of money on Marvel movies, and they also respect film or whatever, and then they see, Scorsese and Coppola being like, "These are garbage movies," and they're like, "Holy shit. Did I just blow all my money and time on these things that, like, oh no, what was I doing?" Like,
I guess that's fair.
I don't know.
And
yeah.
to a degree, it is. I will say that there is a difference between a Marvel film and like I hate it's the only thing that's coming to mind, but something like Phantom Thread, like a movie that explores a really weird and profound and unique aspect of the human experience. But that doesn't mean that one's invalid and the other one isn't. And if somebody says that, they're just wrong. It's really that simple.
I always thought art was just like creation. So whatever you made was art. It didn't matter how good or bad it was. Subjectively speaking, I just thought art was art. I thought.
Yeah.
And I considered cinema art. So when he was like, "They are not cinema," I had never heard. I was surprised to hear Scorsese say that, because
did he qualify what his definition of cinema is?
And that was in my head. That's probably what it was. He was like, "Oh no, like to him, cinema is something completely different than me. Cinema is just art. So whatever, like the short film that your friend made when he was 13 is art. Like, same deal." But maybe he probably has a different definition of cinema. Obviously, he does. I would assume.
That's all I can figure. I remember like the first big like "How dare you" wave was at Roger Ebert for like saying games aren't art.
Oh yeah.
Which was a hyper reductive version of his actual statement, which I thought was pretty true from an analytical standpoint. He was coming from the world of cinema and storytelling, and his analysis, which is correct, is that interactivity is basically diametrically opposed to storytelling. That once you're trading that experience, it's on a sliding scale, and at the time especially, games were very much like, no, we can do both. And like Mass Effect, I think, is the grandest example of why that's dumb. and the smartest games typically will trade one for the other. You'll have a cutscene sequence and then a gameplay sequence, and ideally they tie together with theme or whatever.
Well, that's like Last of Us or Uncharted
or
whatever else.
Bioshock, what have you.
But yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But his point that he actually backed off of was that you cannot tell a interactive story with intent. So like take like a dungeon master in a D&D game or whatever. They can have a story prepared, but the craft of that story is going to be reliant on the input from the players, and as such, the resulting experience and the resulting story is never going to be 100% the dungeon master's intent. And as Roger Ebert was saying it, art is the intent of a creator expressed through a medium.
Okay.
So, and his analogy, which I think is correct, is like you wouldn't see somebody playing basketball and call that art, or you actually might. I think that's where he might be wrong. I think there can be art in gameplay, the way that somebody plays a game. I've seen people play like fighting games, seen people play like StarCraft, artfully.
Well, yeah, but they're also like those people are There are game designers there that designed the experience, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think there's art in game design too. I think game design can be objectively good or bad.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I always point to Tic-Tac-Toe, garbage game, terribly designed. But something like chess, Go, like those games are art, and there's craft in the design. And I think similar principles apply to games. But from his standpoint, just in terms of like a storytelling medium,
interactivity is not equal to art.
Yeah, or that interactivity, from his definition, destroyed the ability to convey art, which is a narrative experience.
Okay.
Which I think is correct.
All right. Sure.
But I wonder about Scorsese popping off about cinema. I think the key is understanding his definition of cinema.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if I were to assume, he means the goal of cinema is to provide you thought-provoking stories about the human experience.
It's funny because he did say something to that effect in that article. Where he was basically like, yeah, it doesn't make you feel anything. I mean, I'll look up the exact wording, but that's what it was. And I immediately disagreed. 100% immediately disagreed. Because I was like, no, that's not true at all. Almost every one of these movies has made me feel something. Like, I've gone in and been, like, really excited because I'm like, wow, the hero actually did the right thing, which is very rare and nowadays. Like, generally it's an anti-hero. So, so for me, watching the movies, I definitely feel something. So, like, that's what I was like, okay, well, then I just write that off. And then Coppola's just like, they're despicable. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, okay, fine. Whatever you guys say. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, like, again, their movies are magnificent. They're masterpieces. Apocalypse Now is an amazing film. Obviously, Goodfellas and The Departed is great movies. I love those movies. I'm not going to not see their other films because of their opinions.
Oh, are people saying that? I'm going to boycott your work forever?
I mean, like, sure. But
gosh,
it doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny. I kind of laughed at it. Like, I was like, ha, yeah, all right. Whatever you guys say.
That's just, it's so... I mean, it is kind of the height of pretense, because Marvel movies they're just retelling of God stories, which we've had for as long as humans have been humans.
Well, it's the hero myth.
Yeah,
all it is.
Yeah, it's so core to the human experience. Just because it's not out there and trying to tread new ground. Well, what's wrong with people
I don't know. It was weird. It's weird to me to see someone who I thought as an artist, like Scorsese is, an amazing artist. So to me, I feel like he's already sort of figured that out and gone like, no, you know what? Art's art, and like some of it's bad, some of it's good, but subjectively, it's whatever. And even though you can even be objective about it. But I was surprised to see that he was like, these movies don't make you feel anything, and they're not cinema. I was like, wow, that's you're taking the hard line on that one. Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, the second he's just dead wrong is when he starts telling other people what they feel. I mean, that's when you're out.
That's right.
You can't tell people what they feel.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, because I mean, like, I immediately disagreed with him right away. Those movies have made me feel like watching Avengers Endgame. Like I hadn't felt like that in years, since maybe like Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight, probably. So
if I channel the crotchety old man, I would say that feeling is hollow, and it's only been built up through fluff movies that you've consumed over a long period of time. So they tricked you into emotional investment that they then paid off.
That's what films are. They're always tricking you, and they're tricking you into emotional investment.
Yeah,
they're all fake.
You're absolutely right.
It's all fake. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I thought it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see people get upset about it and like take hard lines when I'm just kind of like, you're funny, you're a funny guy. It's all right. Keep making movies.
Just be old.
Yeah, just be old. It's okay. when I get old and I start saying things like, oh, that pop music is too loud, then
Yeah.
that's it. I'm out.
I
I'm
love
out
it.
of touch.
When I'm at Tattletale Room at 11 a.m., I'll be screaming about, I don't know.
Two beautiful boys right here. Spread
Oh.
the love. Tell someone they're beautiful.
Oh, thank you for
Aw.
telling us we're beautiful.
I feel great.
No one ever tells me I'm beautiful. Do they tell you you're beautiful?
No, that's very rare. She tells me I'm handsome, which
Yeah.
makes me feel like
Autumn
a special
calls-
boy.
Autumn says I'm handsome,
Aw.
which is very nice.
Aw.
I did see somebody earlier in chat say, I don't ever want to be as hairy as Bruce. And I
What?
was like,
Why wouldn't you?
maybe. But hey, so what? I'm hairy.
Some people like hairy dudes.
They do. Some of the women I've been with have said,
Yeah.
I like hairy
Give me
men.
that hair. I'm gonna roll around in it.
I'll take it.
I was sorry. Somebody in chat was asking about like media dump streams.
Oh yeah.
I do intend to do more of those. I have a grand vision. I guess just in case nobody knows what I'm talking about. I've been in this weird like I have this maybe it's art. I've been doing slowly over the past I want to say 4 years. Been doing this thing where I'll find random weird internet video and then clip it into like 90-second to 2-minute chunks.
Yeah.
And then I have like a plugin that just plays them all randomly, all of them. And there's over like 34 hours of that.
You love that shit.
I know I do. I love it so
I know
much.
that about you, and you love it.
Yeah, it's very much the like everything is terrible, TV carnage, sort of deal. Huge fan of like garbage digital time capsules and stuff. The second step, now that I have a critical mass of garbage, is I'm going to go through and like tag it all with metadata, which means I'll be able to like find subsets of it very easily. What I want to do is just like run normal media streams on Twitch, which is just a bunch of random stuff in order, or not in order, just randomly. And I cut it in such a way that it kind of can imply a narrative when you watch it. It's not as good as a like bespoke cut with intent chunk, which is what a lot of Everything is Terrible does, and it's fantastic. But what I want to do is do like Halloween and holiday themed random media dumps.
Oh yeah.
Put like little snowflakes over it.
Of course.
So yeah, I'm hoping to put that together in the next couple of months.
Do you watch with them?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
'Cause I like it.
You
I-
should, right? Like with a beer and like sit there and drink and
that's
like,
kind of
laugh
the
at it.
thing. Yeah, it's either for like it's side screen stuff, it's like background at a party stuff, it's if you're in the right frame of mind, watching it directly and getting some thoughts kind of stuff. So
I just did media share. You know what media share is, right? When people like donate and then they'll basically like put up a video on your stream.
I saw.
Have you
haven't
done
done
it
it
before?
yet, no.
You got to do it. You got to do it because media share had me rolling.
Does it? So wait, does it?
It was awesome.
Is it only like 10 seconds of something, or how does
No.
it?
So you can change it basically. So it's like I made it so that if you donated $1, then and it was 1 cent per second. So
Oh wow.
so then at that point, just whoever you play whatever you want.
Jeez.
So you can change the parameters, but I just made it so that if you gave gave $1, you could play your video probably for as long as you wanted. And like I'd watch like 5 or 10 minute videos or whatever, but also like the short clips that I'd never seen before, like were amazing. You got to do media share.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's Streamlabs. It's built into Streamlabs. It's all
That's
there.
amazing.
It's all there.
Damn, I don't use Streamlabs. I just use Base OBS.
Oh, you got to use Streamlabs.
There's some plugins for Base OBS that I'm kind of dependent on, but
I get you.
maybe I can experiment. When Ray does it, it's a chat jukebox. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
20 a quarter a second.
20, 25 seconds. Yeah, I sent it to.
Ray can do that. He's up here.
Yeah, I know. We're in the middle somewhere. Ray's up here.
So wait, and this is probably the point, but I assume that means that somebody could put on like Rockstar by Creed as long as they wanted, just rolling and rolling and rolling.
I mean, eventually you can be the judge and be like, nope, we're not going to do that.
Here's a life experience question for you. Have you ever been kicked out of a bar for loading a jukebox with one song over and over again too much?
No, have you?
Yeah.
What song?
It was Creed, Rockstar. I just went and
It's like you were the person.
I bought it like 10 times, and by the 4th time they went over and unplugged the jukebox, and they saw me do it, so they're like, you gotta leave.
Oh,
all right.
They
that's
kicked
fine.
you out?
Yeah, I took my drink and paid my tab.
That's mean. They should have kicked you out.
I
think that's funny.
It's fine. It was kind of the end of the night. That's why I did it. So
All right.
it wasn't. They weren't like bouncing me. I think there was a bit of a smirk behind it, but
Oh, okay.
oh, Nickelback. Sorry. Yeah, it was Nickelback. My bad. Well, let's see how I was drinking a lot that night.
Yeah, everybody's screaming at you.
Sorry.
GD Lawrence.
Dang it. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I support the bar in this conflict. How to fix says.
Fair.
I don't. All you gotta do is be like, don't do it again, or we'll kick you out.
I probably.
And you know that this guy's going to buy more drinks. You
Yeah,
keep
absolutely.
him around. That's what you do.
I'm bummed that I don't know how I should feel about this, because I feel like by this point in my life I should have a number of bars that people like know me by name, but I don't.
When you walk in,
I go to so many different places. Yeah. Usually by the end of the night I have a pretty good rapport with the bartender because we get to chatting about stuff, but
It only takes 3.5% of the population to overthrow a tyrannical government. Is that true? That can't be true. It's in a meme.
that's completely untrue,
That cannot be true.
because I mean more than 3.5% kind of want to overthrow our government now and are working very hard to do so.
Yeah, you're right.
So, we'll see. I mean, it says 1776 intensified, so
Yeah.
maybe that's a reference to like the Federalist Papers or something.
Yeah, the American Revolution. Who knows? Look, I'm trying to catch up on my memes.
Although,
all right?
you know, I'll
What?
throw this out there. Like, maybe it's more a reference to like a Rupert Murdoch type can exert the kind of influence
you're
necessary to get everyone else on board. I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you this: have you started talking in Twitch references like Monka S and Pog?
I have never. Well, I was gonna say I've never said that out loud, but I did say Pog a lot, while kind of making fun of Twitch.
Well, of course, yeah, you got it.
I think it was at the. Where was I? Shit. When I was like playing a video game with some other guys, I was like, "That's a Pog. Oh, big Pog there." And it was just like that kind of talk.
Did anybody else
It's like,
laugh?
ooh boy, what a Pog. No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It was just me. I make myself laugh. That's good enough. That's a big Pogger.
Yeah, big. Do people say big Pog?
Oh, that's big Pog. Ooh.
I have to start.
Hefty Pog. Ooh.
There's a few things that I got to start saying, and one of them is epic gamer moment.
Oh yeah, you gotta have epic gamer
When,
modes.
when things happen, I have to say it out loud that
This
it's
is what's
epic,
called a
epic gamer moment.
pro gamer move. You got to do some of
Pro
those.
gamer move. Okay, all right.
You don't want to have those heated gamer moments. Those are different. But yeah.
And then Kek W or Kekwa. I don't know. Is it Kek W? I assume it's Kek W. I don't know. Because I don't know how people pronounce these things because I only see them in chat.
Gotta have Peepo gun. That's a good stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
What was it? The Contra stream? I think it was.
Is it Kek-W? Is that how you pronounce it? It's like when you read a novel and you read like really big words.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but it's a really big word. I assume it's Kek W. I want to make sure.
That's right. You gotta start every stream with "What's up, gamers?" What's up, gamers? Hey, gamers out there. I don't have a good. Oh, well, I mean, so from when you were DJ, did you have like a show introduction phrase that you would throw out there?
Well, no. So I actually just saw this. I saw this question a few minutes ago. When I was a DJ, I was a radio DJ, and it wasn't the first thing everyone says, because I was a radio DJ when I was 18. There was a college radio, and I was like, no, an actual radio station. I was on it.
Bruce has lived many dreams.
Yeah, I was on it, and it was awesome. Number one. Number two, paid me $8 an hour.
Sick. Is that wait?
Rad.
Was that
This is back in
that was legal in Cali at the time?
It was 2000.
Jeez.
It was just like when you got paid $750 to do Genlock. It's the same deal. We're like
that was like last year.
Although unfortunately,
in Texas.
I was going to say, unfortunately, Genlock was a very expensive production, and a radio station was not. But regardless,
I didn't get to meet Michael B. Jordan or nothing. In the back of my head, I was like, oh, it's okay. They didn't pay me anything. I'll get to go on the press tour.
regardless,
Nope.
It was great because I would call myself the Bruce.
Oh,
Because
that's a big pog.
the reason I did was because of Robert the Bruce from Braveheart, and I couldn't think of a DJ name. I was like, well, I guess I could just be Bruce. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but I called myself the Bruce. So that was always my deal.
That's great.
I'd be like, 929 KJE. My name's the Bruce, and up next is Creed with arms wide open. Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah.
Got it wrong again.
And and I didn't put on a voice or anything. It was just my voice.
And you got a really good radio voice.
People said that, and I didn't realize it until, I guess, when I heard it on the radio. I was like, oh, I guess it is kind of bassy. Never even thought about that. I think my voice is stupid and nasally, but
I think everybody thinks that.
yeah, maybe they do. Except for maybe Maurice LaMarche,
I hope not.
who's got the coolest voice in the world.
He really does.
Man, you needed the Bruce emote. All right, maybe I'll
94.5, the Bruce.
It was 92.9.
Ooh.
KJE it still exists in Santa Barbara. Still there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
That
fun.
is awesome.
It was a great job.
How many other impossible jobs do you like that every kid would want, that when you actually get there sucks, because you've been a radio DJ, you've been G4,
Well, it was television producer G4.
pro gamer now, full-time streamer, award-winning
gamer.
Apex Legend pro gamer player.
I did win an award in an Apex Legends tournament.
I'm still so proud of you.
I couldn't believe it myself
So good.
when I walked out, and I just got the payment the other day.
Oh.
$850.
What?
They gave me $850.
What are you going to spend it on?
What am I going to spend? I don't know.
You need to get a like pro gamer keyboard or something. Oh, I know exactly what you need to get. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Oh no. I'm worried.
Well, you need to get yourself a Thronos.
What the hell's a Thronos?
Oh, you'll see. Wait. Oh, here we go.
What?
The Predator Thronos. Stop it. Stop. Slack. Get out of here.
Oh, Slack ad.
Boy, they've really nailed our demo, haven't they? Yes, Bruce.
What? Wait, how much is this?
Zzz. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
And then it moves, right?
Nope. It just cradles you. It
Wait,
cradles you.
that's all it does?
You can hard game in a Predator or in a gamer dome. Dun 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 dun.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna skip ahead, so
Okay.
I want to see what it does. It doesn't.
That's
do
all it
anything?
does. That's all. What else would you need it to do? You can recline. You can play video games. Look at it. Look.
How much is it?
$1 million. I don't know. 850. How much did you say you had?
Is this good?
Yes, it's very good. Look at it. Look.
I guess it's like a battle station.
The chair has a 6-pack. That was like a 12-pack. Sick.
Do you think there's anybody? There must be somebody that streams in this right now, right?
I mean, it could be you. It could be you, Bruce.
Because I mean, I'll do it first.
Yes. Buy one.
All right,
Buy it.
Hold on, I'm gonna see how much it is. The Thronos. Acer Predator Thronos.
All-in-one gaming chair. All in one. All in one. You don't need anything else in your life.
Purchase info.
Yes. $850.
I am ready to purchase.
So many buttons you gotta.
Oh,
you have to like
come on, I have to
register
fill out
your
a form.
interest.
I'm not gonna do that.
They're gonna try to scout you out. So, so the Bruce, I see on your application here.
The Bruce.
How many Apex Legends tournaments have you won? How cash flush are you at the moment? They must build them all to order. That must be it. They need you to submit your measurements so the Thronos can cradle every part of your body.
There's got to be somebody. There we go. $14,000. All right, there. That's what I asked.
I think I just spit all over your.
That's definitely $14,000.
Wait, does that include the monitors or is it just?
I think it includes
chair?
the monitor. I think it includes everything.
$20,000 gaming station with a motorized. It is motorized.
Well, what is
Okay.
it? Oh, because it lowers you, right?
Oh yeah, but I don't think it like rocks in. It's not like the afterburner cabinet or anything.
$20,000 gaming station with a motorized zero-G reclining system.
Oh man, I hope it's loud. I hope it's gas powered. You have to like pull a ripcord. No. It's
Predator Thermal buying 14,000. Yeah, I think you could connect a laptop to the monitor and play that way. I guess you
Laptop?
You have to connect a gaming PC.
Yeah.
No, anyone consider this? Oh, wait, for real? You have to connect a PC to it?
It's just the chair.
It's just the chair?
Yeah.
The monitors. The monitors.
Do you get the monitors?
I mean, they're there. They're in the picture.
Yeah, I guess the gaming PC is not there.
Are you fucking shitting me? They don't give you a $2,000 PC?
You on the weekend? Autumn, gas up the Thronos. It's time to stream.
Well, anyways, I can't afford that. It was only $850.
Well, you got to win a couple more tournaments.
Jeez.
Dun, 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 dun.
I am at this point though. I have been paid to play a video game, so I don't know that does that classify me as an eSports athlete?
Yeah. Yes. You're a cyber athlete. Oh man. Okay, that's taking me back. Hold on. I gotta look up something else now.
Please go right ahead. That's what the internet's for.
There's a clip that I remember watching live and being like, "What the fuck is happening?" Bruce, do you remember the World Cyber Games?
It really sounds familiar, actually. Were they on G4?
Maybe that. So they had a sweet theme song called "Beyond the Game."
Okay, all right.
Oh, please tell me this is the. If this were on the jukebox, this is why I would have gotten thrown out of that bar.
They were probably like, "Hey, man, we need you to say World Cyber Games because you made a song for World Cyber Games."
I can't rhyme anything with that. When am I gonna rhyme with games? Game. Oh shit! There's a fire dragon up there. Sick. I mean, I think it's just the song again.
Oh, it's a song.
Maybe there's a remix.
What a nightmare that is. What a nightmare. I hate it. The early 2000s or something. Was that the early 2000s?
Yeah, that was like 2004, 2005. I remember watching the World Cyber Games when I was in college. So.
Oh, so did you watch them on G4?
No, I watch them on the internet.
Oh.
Yeah,
Was there ever more than one? It said the first annual World Cyber Games.
there were a couple.
Oh, there were? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Beyond the game.
So good. So good. Yeah, no, World Cyber Games, I think, is not going anymore.
Why am I making you feel old, Unity of Balance? Did
Uh-oh.
you also watch the World Cyber Games
Maybe you weren't born yet.
on Twitch? Or not Twitch. What am I talking about?
Painkiller is absolutely correct. That song automatically plays when you pull start the Throno. So you gotta throw a foot up on there and yank that ripcord. You can barely hear it over the diesel engine, but it's there.
Man, what a nightmare. All that stuff, because like, when you watch...
They had World Cyber Games 2019 in China? Well, damn. I thought it was defunct.
Well, now it's invested in by Chinese money.
Yeah, the World Cyber Games outlived the MLG. That's crazy. Esports. This is an esports
You're
stream
right.
now.
Wow.
Maybe we'll get investment from some Chinese dude.
Is Chinese investment really that easy to find?
It has to be.
Because I feel like every company in the world has gotten it.
I got no principles. I don't give a shit.
There are Chinese people here. They're just buying houses out here in Los Angeles.
You could be a pro gamer for like a kart racer knockoff or Counter-Strike knockoff. You just gotta. Hey, you've been playing Apex. That's fine, but you're not gonna get Thronos money playing Apex. You got to
Right,
find
right.
the Chinese knockoff of Apex. Something that has no
that
guns.
exists.
They
I
just
think.
wave at you when they
I
die.
think that already exists. Can you do me a favor and click on the Bruce Green tab?
Oh.
Other mouse.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Somebody's dropping knowledge on me. Just watch Inside Gaming Daily. You can't see me means that John Cena has concussed his opponent so much they can no longer see him. Is that fully accurate?
I didn't know that.
That's intense.
Hey on the game.
That makes a little bit of sense, but I mean that seems unlikely given that you can't pile drive people. So I would imagine that the WWE is sensitive to slamming people's heads into the mat so hard that they lose.
They have a
memory.
concussion and they black out.
Yeah.
Um,
Compressing people's spines. I think it's a joke about terrible health in the WWE. Are you serious? Is that really?
Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
I thought it was just a dumb... Because so many wrestlers just have dumb catchphrases that mean nothing. It was like, what? And you can go and tell that. It's like, what is that?
Like,
Can you smell what the Rock's... Yeah.
That makes more sense though, because that's
He's
like,
not a chef.
That's like him getting ready. That's like him like being like, can you smell what? Basically, can you see what I'm about to do to you? That's what I always got.
Okay.
I don't know. I could
There's
be
something there. There's something there.
I don't know enough about wrestling to even talk about this.
I get it.
I saw a good question. Oh, that's what it was. Let's put it to rest. Let's put this to bed. Lawrence,
Huh.
have you ever watched hentai unironically?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering.
No,
I've never done that.
I've watched like full 22-minute episodes and made it through without jerking off. Yeah.
Why'd you watch it?
Story. Yeah. I actually watched I read a tasteful adult manga. I mean, it started off.
Did you have a girlfriend?
No, God, no.
Oh, there we go. Okay, all right. That's what I was wondering about. That's important.
Since being in committed relationships, I've still watched. I mean, feature length is a strong word, but full series is there's some cute and heartfelt stories out there. There's one called Darling, which is about a dude who's an adult manga artist and he bones his wife for inspiration, but it's pretty wholesome. It's just like,
But is it hentai?
yeah,
If it's wholesome, then it's not hentai, right?
No.
Isn't hentai like
hentai is just like
specifically
just
like
perverted animation.
tentacles and stuff?
Doesn't have to be.
Oh, so it's just adult animation. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Like hentai.
Well, then I have watched.
Chat, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But hentai
thought-
just means like perverted or weird in Japanese. So anything that's sexual.
So anything pornographic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just
I
animated.
thought hentai was a specific kind of porn.
It often dabbles in that because the Japanese are weird and have very little shame. And also you can do things with animation you just can't do in real life.
I'm getting crucified by chat right now. They're
Oh.
like, you are stereotyping
You
hentai.
ass.
How dare you?
Damn ass. How dare you? Anyway, there was one where like teacher was banging her student, super hot, whatever. And they were banging so hard one day that she like slipped off the bed and cracked her head on the wall and like got amnesia. They still banged. But it was a real regarding Henry sort of situation where they had to relearn to love each other. Very
Aw,
sweet.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't know hentai wasn't like specifically terrible porn.
No, it doesn't have to be. It often is, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wholesome stuff.
I don't know that I should ever Google that though. I feel like you should probably never Google the word hentai, right?
Why not?
Okay. All right. Hey,
What?
I'm just checking.
What is it gonna? What FBI server is that gonna put you on that you don't want to be on? Everyone watches it. Who cares? We've all been there.
Okay.
We've all been there. You got to live without shame.
I'm not doing it now. How dare... you know what? I'll do it in incognito if you'd like.
Don't.
Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's
I haven't
Twitch.
turned on safe search. Hold on.
It's Twitch.
And I actually have to turn on safe search.
We're going to get tossed.
No.
You think you trust Google Safe Search to not...
Have you never seen me play safe search roulette? I've done it on Twitch.
What?
You've never seen me play that?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Here, let's see. Hello. We'll just do something nice.
So wait, what if you actually see porn, though? Is that going to get you,
You don't.
popped on...
Safe search doesn't do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Nah.
Yes. Safe search works that way. I'm telling you. I played safe search roulette 100 times.
I believe you. It's just shocking to me. I didn't...
All right. So let me make sure that I have safe search on. I believe that I do.
Yeah, get your pogs ready, Chad. This is going to be intense.
What can I Google that will safe search is on? Okay, good. More about safe search. Well, let's read about safe search. Safe search is
I mean, I guess I should...
helps filter out explicit content in Google search results for all your queries. While safe search isn't 100% accurate, it's designed to help block explicit results like pornography.
I mean, yeah, to help block, to not totally block.
All right.
I mean, you've done it. You've played with fire.
I did it early on in this career, so maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I shouldn't do it on Twitch. I'm not going to do it. Now you guys have got me all scared. This is your fault.
You could just do it on... Oh, wait, you don't have another monitor.
I mean, you can do it over there if you want to. That's not streaming.
Oh,
Try it.
okay.
So you have to go to Google,
Yeah.
turn it on. We're going to do it on another monitor to make sure. So wait. I think you have to actually Google
Yeah,
something.
let's do
in.
that. And then it was what, tools?
What's it? Or settings. I think it's in settings.
Oh, okay.
Turn on safe search. There it is. Turn it on.
Okay.
We're going to try it over here. And well, I don't know if you should try that. Try it like hentai. He searched big ass titties. See, that's okay. That's all safe.
That's not... Yeah.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So try hentai. Type it in.
I mean, there's some clothed ladies that have some ample bosoms, but...
Art? Really? Oh, yeah. But that's just bathing suits.
I mean, those are some big-ass titties.
Yeah, but that's just in a shirt.
Yeah, you're
She's allowed to have that. Search hentai. Try it.
I like coffee like I like my women. Big-ass titties. Okay, so yeah, it's just a bunch of meme posts, really.
Yeah.
And that's the dude from Ninja Sex Party. All right. Well, I mean, if big-ass titties didn't bring up anything, I don't think hentai will. Okay, some tastefully cropped images and a lot of gal.
You boys make me warm and tingly.
Oh.
What are you looking forward to in 2020 and you
There's just
keep
drips
resolutions?
everywhere.
That
Oh.
one's, you shouldn't-
Wait, what's going on?
You shouldn't click on those.
Oh, so the related searches are...
You got to be careful.
Wait, well, I mean, these are largely
I
safe,
don't know, I
except
wouldn't click on the related searches.
there is the one lady guiding what appears to be a
Once
massive penis.
immediately broke safe search roulette.
No.
100% immediately broke it by clicking on the related searches. Never should have done.
I mean, this is largely pretty clean. It's just a lot of
I told
gal.
you. Safe search is pretty good.
Justin Bieber has a hentai coloring book. Oh, let me click on that. Just a lot of weird dreadlock Justin Bieber pics.
Safe search is pretty good. 'Cause like if you do, here, I'll just do anatomy.
Oh, those are blurred. There's some titties there, but they're blurred.
See? And then they're not gonna show any really like actual genitalia or anything. I don't know that you could really jerk off to this.
Boy, this would work though if you were like 13 and desperate. Okay, there's Jesus having sex with an anime girl, of course, yeah. This is perfect. I've never jerked off to this song, but I will.
We celebrate our diversity.
Alright, that's pretty fun.
Wait, it's just Arizona.
Yeah, photoshopping Arizona tea cans into hentai.
And,
All right, I like that.
see? So now you can go home, play safe search roulette, and then if you get banned,
Boy, she's really excited to drink everything that mango tea has to offer, huh? Oh, she's rubbing the top of that can. I know that there was like a whole thing. There are a ton of awesome memes of people photoshopping anime shit. One was like anime girls holding up pregnancy tests. That was a fun one.
there was the
Weird times.
well, you've seen like the photoshopped
That's Pog.
porn gifs, right? Where like they're like playing guitar and
Oh,
stuff.
safe for work porn, yeah. Ah, so good.
Those are really great.
Playing bongos.
Those are really great.
Yeah, the one where he adds in all the sound effects. I mean, we got to be able to show that, right?
I mean, I don't know that you look. Twitch TOS can be pretty.
I'll play it for a second.
Okay.
Because there was like a bumper somebody made. Yeah, look at her. She's trying to get her change out of that. She's trying to get her change out of the phone.
If anybody hasn't seen these are great. Wait, somebody's shouting you can't watch that on Twitch.
Okay, then I won't. Never mind. Okay, you can't. Thank you, no mediocre.
I mean, look, you can't trust them. They're not necessarily from Twitch. You could if you wanted to. That's like when I was at Area 51 and they were screaming at me that the military was arresting people, and they weren't, by the way.
Yeah, there was just the one person who pissed, right?
They only arrested one, and everybody else went to the gate, and they were just hanging out with the military. They were like taking pictures and shit.
Man.
I should have gone.
Oh, you didn't go up to the gate?
No, because chat told me not to.
That's one of those things where it's like, oh, wait, Autumn got home. Was she able to park okay?
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Oh, okay.
She figured it out.
Yeah, I imagine if just imagine that it was a big ass meme, but it cost the military personnel their evening because they had to be out there and make sure nothing stupid happened.
Well, I think, to be fair, I think they're always out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's somebody always at that. But
what if just for a dumb joke, they had to go to a meeting where they had to talk about it and be like, okay, is anyone actually going to try to get in here?
Absolutely, they did.
What are we going to do? Just because people decided to herp derp on Facebook, it threw off these guys this whole weekend. Maybe. I don't know. It's just fun to think about.
I mean, it probably did.
Maybe.
I think it's cool though. They were out there
it's
having
something.
fun. They were smiling.
Okay, well,
The
you know.
pictures. It was Steven Suptic's fiance, Alyssa.
Oh yeah.
Her, Nat, and then a few other people. They went to the gate.
Oh wow.
Because we saw them there. We met them there. We actually didn't mean to. It just happened to be there. And they went to the gate. We went home, and they were pictures with the military dudes, and they're smiling, and everybody's having a great time. So
Aw.
yeah. No Munster, no music. Oh. Bye. Drive safe. Lawrence, have you met Autumn's brother?
Oh.
Autumn's brother's girlfriend, Kiana. Salem and Kiana. Well, now I can get up and say goodbye.
Okay. Arizona? Ooh, that is a long drive.
Yeah. All right.
Be safe.
Oh, chat says goodbye too.
Aw. Getting banned on Twitch is truly going beyond the game.
We haven't gotten banned yet. Nobody's gotten banned. Stop
banned?
talking about banned.
Jeez.
You know that one of my emotes, somebody reported one of my emotes and they banned it? It was Toilet Bruce.
Oh,
It's tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny little bait, and nobody's naked.
Yeah. I got one of my emotes rejected because it was copywritten, because it was an anime girl with really derp ass eyes, and it was one of those where you. What I loved about it is that if you did one individually, it just looked like an anime girl's face, but when you did it together, you saw how derpy and stupid anime is. Anyway, apparently that one got rejected, but I've seen so much copywritten stuff in other people's emotes.
See, that's my emote, but I put a little thing over it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, at least you ran with it.
They banned it.
Toilet Bruce.
And you're going to see, it's not a spoiler, you're going to see more Toilet Bruce.
I think it was in the trailer.
Yeah, it was in the trailer. Coming up on Arizona Circle.
Man.
If you watch the next, I think 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it's,
one a week for the next 6 weeks.
What's Lawrence's Twitch? Twitch.tv/SirLar. SIRLARR.
Damn right. I'm sticking with the same handle I've had since I was 14.
SirLar.
Never losing it. Can't. I got to dedicate to the jump. That's 14-year-old me. Going to be that until I'm dead.
I just realized what we should have done. We should have squad streamed it as well, even though it's the same stream. Then at least people would be able to link to the other ones.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. There is a Party Bruce emote, but you have to be tier 2 or tier 3.
Ooh.
I made it special.
I need to lay into that. I haven't done tiering stuff. I haven't done sub emotes for different lengths of time, cheer emotes. I gotta do all that stuff.
They're fun.
Yeah, it's super cool. I need
to make a bunch more too, and I haven't done it.
Got no time. For the people in for the people in my chat.
Oh yeah.
Twitch.tv/BruceGreen. But you guys probably already know all that.
BRUCEGREENE.
You were looking jacked. Oh yeah, I took my shirt off.
You took your shirt off?
Yeah, I was John Cena saluting at the end.
Oh, that's why.
Because Connor was playing John Cena theme on Melodica, so that's what you got to do.
Did he bring in a melodica for that?
Yeah, we have one. I wanted to get the slide whistle, so we were showing all the gifs and all the clips from WWE. They're all glitched and shitty, and it's Brian wrote all these one-line zingers for him, and it really started to feel like we were hosting an episode of America's Funniest Home Videos from late '90s. So I really wanted to drop a sweet slide whistle on all the people falling over and glitching out, but couldn't find it because we just moved rooms.
Fuck.
So instead, it was a recorder / melodica soundtrack.
Just wanted to call out ALC said, if we're dishing out real talk tonight, I want to say that I've always considered Lawrence my favorite member of Funhouse.
What?
Sorry,
Why
Bruce.
would you
It's
say
okay.
that in front of Bruce?
That's all right.
Sweet Bruce.
Law Dog has always been the most relatable to myself, and I've always considered him a legit role model.
Jesus Christ.
Look at that, huh,
Thank
Lawrence?
you.
You're somebody's role model. How
That's
do you feel
wild.
about that?
So, I mean, this might sound conceited, but I would be my own role model for me when I was younger because I have...
Looks you've improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things that I wasn't happy with about my life and my state of mind and my belief structure, I have not fixed because I don't want to speak in those terms because part of it is embracing that it's never all the way fixed. But I think I've gotten to a much better place. So it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Not to
That's
say
what
that I
you're saying.
deserve to be one, but just like
Well, no, but you're improving. I mean, like you improve every day. That's what it's
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to become a better person.
And I think there were a lot of people out there like me. I certainly see a lot of myself or my younger self in the things that people say on the internet. So
Yeah.
just kind of looking at it empirically, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, so here we go. Frykel's back at it. Bruce, you've always been my favorite member. My wife is adamant that Lawrence is the best and hottest. Oh, come on.
Oh, there you go.
You had
that's,
to-
that's actually better because his wife, I assume, is female. So then a female is attracted to you.
There's at least two. Sweet.
Well, hold on. Can you consider your ex-girlfriends and ex-wife also attracted to you?
I mean,
They were at one point.
I'm confused about that because yeah, the way that my marriage broke up was pretty like adamantly I am not attracted to you anymore, which does wonders for your self-esteem, boy. So I don't consider that to be an active threat anymore.
But at one point,
Sure.
this is one of those things that I've had to do occasionally. It's like put myself in the mindset, like when you're really down on yourself, and this is obviously when you're not in a relationship, you have to think to yourself like, you start thinking like, well, maybe I'm not attractive. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm ugly. Maybe nobody loves me. Maybe I don't, like all these terrible things that you obviously shouldn't feel. But I would then try to psych myself out of it, being like, well, hold on. Now wait a minute, Bruce. People have been attracted to you before.
Yeah.
So why can't it happen again? And then I'd be like, okay, I feel a little better. Back on Tinder.
Yeah, I mean, largely the same thing. I kind of used all of the rejection and spite I had from my old relationship, funneled it into working out, but I was also drinking very heavily. Try to pair my good coping mechanisms with my very bad ones. But yeah, it was largely that. I was like, well, I largely, it kind of truly is true that there is someone out there for everybody. I've seen like ladies who are madly in love with dudes, and I'm just like, okay, that works for you.
Yeah, they find something.
Yeah, the lack of jaw is your thing. You like those big ears, fine. I mean, there's so many people in the world, and we're all so fucking weird that there truly is someone for everybody. No matter what your thing is, or how weird your nose is, or where your eyeballs are located, there's going to be someone who's super into that.
Yeah.
People like feet. People like creepy ass hentai. There's something in there.
I saw somebody, and this is a really interesting comment. I think it was Dasmim said, but what if those negative things are true? And I think it's a valid question. And like almost all of life, generally the answers fall in the middle.
Mhm.
So usually it's not that all the negative things are true, right? There's probably some things that are not true. Some of them may be true though. Some of them may be like, you know what? Turns out, like, I know for a fact that my face is not symmetrical. So I know when I look in the mirror, my face isn't symmetrical. Fine. No big deal. I know that that's true, and that's a negative thing I think about myself. But there are other things, and if you're thinking like, well, I'm really stupid or something. No, the truth is probably not that you're actually stupid. It's probably somewhere in the middle of that. Like, well, you're smarter than you think you are, but maybe not as smart as you actually think you are if you're on the other side of that and you're like super cocky. Usually that's the truth is in the middle. Generally. Don't always think the negative things are true.
Yeah, that's super true.
No.
It's calibrating how much to trust your inner neuroses, how to incorporate external feedback, like the mix, the like chemistry there. That's the fundamental of living a happy life, and it takes so long to find the happy medium. Because if you trust your internal demons too much, then you're a nervous wreck all the time. If you ignore them entirely, you might be behaving recklessly and hurting people around you and refusing to acknowledge any of that stuff. So that's the tough part, is there's no right answer for any of that. It's just you got to bounce off the bumpers as you go down the lane, kind of like bowling. But the older you get, and the bigger of a data set you have, because you've lived longer and talked to more people, you get a better sense for it. But it really is kind of trial and error, which is something that honestly kind of freaks me out with social media and like public shaming and stuff. It hurts to think that there's not I'm going to use the phrase, even though it's not how most people use it, like a safe space to socially experiment. There's stuff in my life that I still think like that I cringe about. If it were on the internet, or even just the thought that it could go on the internet, man. Because somebody earlier in chat was asking like any advice for asking out a girl. I've been terrified of that most of my life.
It's still scary.
Yeah, but then to think that somebody could go around and like post a Reddit post about this shitheel that just came up to her at like school lunch or a bus stop or what, I don't know, man. I do remember thinking that like, to a degree, it's true. Is like, when I was trying to figure out dating, everybody wanted you to be good at it, and nobody was willing to tolerate you being bad at it. But the only way to get good at it was to do it. So it was really tough to try to go through that phase of being willing to fall on my face in front of others, and impose on other people's sense of calm, because that's kind of what asking somebody else out is. And the right way to do it is to recognize nonverbal cues and body language and all this stuff. But there's no way you can do that.
Well, if you don't know
without
them.
doing it,
I think if there are people that I've met before, or like asked out or whatever, that were understanding of that, and were like, in the nicest possible way, would be like, hey, this ain't it, chief. Like, you tried, and it's okay. Here's kind of where you went wrong.
Aw.
And it was nice. It would be a nice way to do it. Or sometimes it'd be like, hey, I like you, but this was not it. Like, let's still go out and whatever. We can totally hang out, but don't do that. And I'd be like, oh, okay, all right. Well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Then they're trying to redirect you a little bit.
Well, the scary part is then that means that, no, it's not scary, I guess. But that sort of requires that the other person was comfortable and experienced enough to even be able to give that feedback.
Yeah.
The dynamite is when two people who have no idea what they're doing start like smashing off each other, physically and socially.
Yep.
So it's the mess of life. And the thing that I think to a degree movies have kind of set the standard of portraying youth as being a like awkward free experience. Luckily there are some shows that kind of try to portray how messy all that can be. I think I get kind of concerned when like people consume influencer content, YouTubers, Twitch streamers that aren't awkward. And I think it sets a weird example that you can just skip the awkward phase, or that there's a way to just be cool with yourself and be happy without having to go through a lot of really weird times. I don't know.
As far as I can see, there's nobody that doesn't go through an awkward period. However, people like, and this is probably just because you only ever see the good stuff, but like people like Tom Holland, I'm always like, this dude has never done a fucking weird thing in his entire life. Everything he does is fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and it's not true. It's not, because I'm sure he's done stupid shit, or like, whatever, fallen over at a party or gotten too drunk. Doesn't matter. But I don't ever see it. So whenever I see what he does, even when it seems like he's just being himself, which he probably is, it's the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, dude, this dude's so cool. So I don't know. I think there are some people like that, if you get lucky. I'm not one of them. But I think there are people out there like that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There, a
few. Mm-hmm. They're the chosen few, the lucky ones.
I wonder what it's like to be like that.
I don't know.
Scotty Don't Know says, I'm the opposite. I need to learn to socialize single as being single. I'm only 24, but I've had 3 separate 3-year relationships, 14 to 17, 17 to 20, 21 to 24. I had great success where we ended up separating because our lives began to become incomplete and we're going off in different directions.
Yeah.
But relationships are so easy if you're compassionate and willing to do things that don't always benefit you. Wow.
That's true, Scotty. That is true.
Interesting.
A very appropriate statement.
Yeah, but, sometimes it can go too far. If you're always sacrificing yourself...
Then you're a doormat, yeah.
Yeah, or then you fall into resentment for another person taking everything from you. And then sometimes your partner resents the fact that you're not a complete and individual person because you're not doing anything for you either. It gets messy. I'm not saying anything specifically about your life.
But I think you're right about the bumpers on
Mm-hmm.
the bowling alley, because like you're constantly finding the boundaries and being like, oh well, back towards the middle, because you it could go one way or the other. You're either a doormat or you're too forceful, or who knows. I think that's a good way to put it.
Talk about Death Stranding. Conan made a video on it. I think under embargo.
You're under embargo, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
All I can say is that I am playing it.
When is your embargo up? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I know a lot of people that are playing it right now, and they're all under embargo, so it's like
Yeah.
no one can talk about it.
Nope.
That's okay.
Okay.
Soon, everyone.
Yeah, soon.
Soon. Have you played Outer Worlds yet?
No, I went to a preview event, so I played it for about an hour.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
have you played COD?
Not yet. I'm actually pretty excited for this.
I'm super excited for COD, even though it's Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard. And I've been trying to sort of like, kind of not. I didn't want to play the game. Like I was like, all right, I'll maybe not play their games for a little bit. But then I just gave them $100, so it's like, okay, all right. Not all of the company is bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And also, I hate to be this guy. I mean, it's a nice sentiment, but if you're really going to start trying to scrape out the Chinese influence from your life,
Lots of video games.
I mean,
Oh,
you
that's
got
true.
computers,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
phones, like there's
That's a really good point.
a lot of consumer electronics. Like, how far are you going to take that?
That's a really good point.
I mean, how many people have phones that were made by terrible working conditions in Chinese factories? I mean, it's so easy to like, but what about blank? I don't want to get into that, but I think you can excuse yourself, I think, because to have that be a life policy would be extremely difficult
Yeah.
if you actually carry it out in totality.
That's a extremely valid point, which I hadn't thought of, because my democratic heart goes out to the people in Hong Kong
For sure.
Because I think just today they got that extradition bill struck down, right?
They did?
Isn't that what happened?
Oh, I didn't hear
Something
about
happened.
that.
Hold on, let's take a look.
That's fantastic.
I thought that happened. I thought that they got a result.
Invest in America or invest in Africa, not China.
There it is. Yeah, China extradition bill officially killed as
Great.
Beijing considers replacing Carrie Lam, the semi-autonomous province's leader. Carrie Lam, she was running Hong Kong, so that's great for them. They've been
Fantastic.
protesting for months,
Mm-hmm.
and hundreds of thousands of them.
Yep.
So
That's a good step. I mean, they still got a long way to go, but that's fantastic.
yeah, they are still protesting. I know that, but that's great. I'm very happy for that sort of stuff. So, hey, maybe that one day they'll become as cool as America. And
Yes.
have all the terrible problems
Everything's
we have
free here.
Yeah.
Man. See
Hi.
some of that Zuckerberg testimony today?
No,
Pretty
I
sick.
didn't. What was it?
I mean, it's basically about him being totally chill or allowing abject disinformation in political ads.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I read about it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, he was getting grilled by Congress a little bit. Basically, they were trying to define exactly where the boundary was between something that wouldn't be allowed. So I think it was actually Ocasio-Cortez was asking him, like, based on your demographic data, would it be okay for me to buy an ad advertising to a poor black community the wrong date and location for voting? And he like kind of hemmed and hawed and said, well, that probably wouldn't be okay. And then she's like, okay, well, you have the Daily Caller as one of your independent fact checkers, and they are known to be associated with white supremacists. So do you consider the Daily Caller to be a reliable news source? And he was like, well, we don't do the checking. It's an independent part. Like, it was basically, he was just swerving around
Well, he's
everything.
just passing the buck.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's exactly what he's there to do. So, not a big surprise, but it is sort of depressing. One of the things that frustrates me is we are the internet society. I mean, accurate. The internet is like, it's changing society so quickly and so profoundly, which I think people should have seen coming. But we have the exact, like, the eye is so off the ball. It's scary. Like, that we're only now being like, hey, maybe this Facebook thing isn't so great.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
That should have happened 4 years ago. And it's excusable that it didn't, but because there are always more pressing problems, it's just frustrating that when it became a big problem, suddenly we have different government that's like, but what about coal?
Yeah.
No, look the other direction. Look forward. Stop trying to bring back old shit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's real weird.
That bums me out. I mean, because I think when we look back, we'll recognize that we did really hand control of the world over to AI and tech, which is pretty sick.
Man,
in
really?
one way.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't think that will ever happen. I think that right
A
now,
lot of people think the Earth is flat.
I don't know about a lot,
Well.
but there are some.
I mean, polling data is pretty scary. Not that it tells the whole picture, but I think it's living where we do. I think it's maybe easy to lose track of the amount of the populace that's starting to believe in some pretty funky stuff.
I would like to see how many people believe the Earth is flat.
That's a good question, actually.
I would really like to know.
Yeah, what the true percentages?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know that. I mean, like, I'm sure that there's like let's say 5% of the U.S., which is a lot of people, by the way.
That's a lot.
Believe the Earth is flat, even when presented with evidence that it's not.
I mean, but the evidence is fake, Bruce. I'm
All of it?
I'm really pulling for that dude who wanted to build his own rocket to prove it the Earth was flat.
I was too.
Yeah,
I saw that.
God bless him. Hey, he's actually doing something. You know what? Trust but verify.
Actually, yeah, one in chat. One in chat if you think it's flat. Oh, that rhymes. One in chat if you think it's flat.
There we go.
0 in chat if you think it's round.
That makes sense.
I want to see it, chat.
Oh yeah, anti-vax stuff is kind of scary.
2, 1, 0. Lots of jokes. Great. Good. 5. 1.0. This is why the internet was a mistake, everyone. Because no one will actually give an answer.
We almost got to the bottom of it today. Almost got there.
We broke Restream chat because it's not even moving anymore.
Yeah. Wow. How?
Yeah,
Dead.
we totally broke it.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe flat Earth was a little much, but I don't know. I do think, I guess to a degree, it's always been the case that, you know, people get their worldview through media. I do think that media is getting very sophisticated about presenting information with intent more than it used to be. But this starts to go down a path I don't think we need to go down. So.
the political path? No.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I did abjectly talk about politics, but I don't want to.
I did want to call out.
I like it more from the tech angle. That's more what I'm interested in.
Well, you've always talked about how like people just click yes to the TOS on anything.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right because you're giving away your data to whatever company it is.
I think people are over being shocked about that, and I think that's okay. I'm not going to be like, but your privacy. I think people are okay with the trade-off and what it's benefited society as. I think people largely aren't aware the degree to which they are 100% understood by like tracking algorithms.
I think you're right.
And I think it would actually probably really freak people out and give them a crisis of free will.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
So
I think you're right about that for sure. All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
We went for an hour and 40 minutes.
solid hour 40.
And also, I wanted to wrap up with one somebody in Dr. Leviathan in chat called him Mark Fucker Nerd. Got him. You got that billionaire.
Beautiful.
You brought him down to our level.
He's got a dumb haircut.
Boom! I know, nailed him.
Fuck, come find me, Mark. Come get me. Can't do it.
Well, thanks for coming over.
Oh, thank you, man. I love hanging out with you.
It's just a fun of fucking chat. I like talking to you about the internet.
I love it so much. I'm terrified of it, but I love it. It's great.
It's great. All right. Well, should we do a raid? We can do 2 raids.
Sure. Oh, John's been John got